How's it going, everybody? It's your world champion here, and I'm back with my arc reviews of Naruto Shippuden. Kind of took a little bit of a break, especially from the series, because I was actually kind of watching some other things, and I've been needing to kind of catch up on my DVD box sets. So part of me just kind of felt like I needed to take a break from it and all that. Plus, we had reached the first filler arc of the series, so it kind of took me a little bit to even sit down and watch it, but I got it watched, got it done, and this is basically my arc review of that. If you're new to this kind of format I'm doing with this, so basically I'll give a rough synopsis of the arc itself, and then we're going to move on to a segment that I'll talk about the 5 things I didn't like about the arc, ending with the 5 things I did like about the arc, and then kind of like a final grade of the arc as well. And then, so at the end of this video as well, I'm gonna have an announcement going forward with anime and all that on the channel. So without further ado, let's begin. So basically, the quick synopsis of this arc is shit's going down. So these villages are getting destroyed by this very strong lightning style jutsu, and there's also some grave robbers robbing the graves of some dead members of the Guardian Shinobi 12, the shinobi that used to guard the feudal lord and the land of fire. They were specialized shinobi for that reason. They had a falling out on who they really should be protecting, whether it was the feudal lord of the Fire Nation, or I shouldn't say Fire Nation, I'm in the middle of watching Avatar. Yeah, so they had a falling out on who their true king was. Was it the feudal lord, or was it the Hokage? They split down the middle, had a big fight. Some of them died, some of them didn't, whatever. So this involves Asuma and his monk friend, whose name is escaping me right now. They basically have to come together and figure out what happened. Naruto's involved in this. His team, Team 7, Team Kakashi, goes to the monk village to meet up with them and find out about the grave robbers, while Team Asuma basically goes to discover about the villages that have been destroyed. Turns out they're all linked, whatever. We meet a boy there named Sora, who's basically an outcast in the monk temple. I said village earlier, it's actually just a temple. Sora goes with the gang to the Leaf Village. Then shit hits the fan at the Leaf Village, where the plan's about to be there to destroy the Leaf Village. And turns out Sora has the powers of the Nine-Tailed Fox. He basically goes Four Tails mode. Naruto stops him, and he goes on his way, and that's pretty much it. That's the filler arc very quickly. So starting off on the 5 things I didn't like in the arc. The first one being the forced friendship that we had between Sora and the rest of the Leaf Village. Now, we see later on when Sora, his nine-tailed powers are getting the best of him and he can't control them. Naruto's trying to say, you do have friends. We're here at the village to help you and all that. But when you think back on it, Sora didn't really have a lot of moments with them. There might have been some off-screen moments, but literally the only moments he had with them was fighting them when he first got there and having barbecue with them afterwards with like Choji, Shikamaru, Lee, Naruto, who am I missing? Kiba and Asuma. They all went to get barbecue and all that, and that's when he starts getting a little bit more of a connection with Asuma. But, I mean, despite all of that, there really wasn't much of a friendship with them. And he even had a rocky start with Lady Tsunade as well. But to me, when it got to the part where Sora needed to just calm down with the Nine-Tails power, it just felt a little forced to me. I mean, Naruto, yes, you can defend that he was trying to be a friend to Sora. That part makes sense, especially with the connection with the Nine-Tailed Fox. But with the other people being there, it just, again, it felt a little forced to me. So another part I didn't really like of this arc is there's this moment where Sora, he finds the main villain of the arc, which I'm sorry, his name escapes me at the moment. But Sora knows he's the leader of the villains. He knows that. And yet, he listens to this stranger because he's like, I knew your dad. Asuma killed your dad. Blah, blah, blah. Even though I'm really your dad. Like, you know in your mind, you know that he's the villain. You know that he's the main antagonist. You know that. Because he's part of a group, a mysterious group that came. He's not part of a village. He's just there mysteriously while these grave robbings are happening. And you're gonna listen to him? You're gonna try to kill Lady Tsunade? You're gonna try to go against the Leaf Village? Come on, man. Come on, sorry. And he does kind of realize this near the end, and that's also when he starts fighting back against the Ninetales power during all that aspect. But just the initial act of it, and again, this is very nitpicky, but it just didn't rub me the right way. So next on this list is something that we're actually going to see later on in the series as well, but it's the fact that Sora has the Ninetales power. So when we get introduced to Sora, he has this weird arm, like demonic arm, and it has this power to it. And in fact, even before that, we have this dream sequence with Naruto where like the Ninetales power is happening. He sees like the chakra beast of it, and he wakes up from that horrible nightmare. So we have that, but having Sora being linked to the Ninetales power, and then like the reason is because there was excess chakra from the Ninetales that these ninja just somehow got a hold of after the fight with the Ninetales. I mean, it's not as much of a stretch as the other that we'll see way later on down the line. But this one just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it would have been so much cooler to have just another demon or something. Or like, just a demon. Not part of the Ninetales. You could have had it maybe a part of a different tailed beast, you know, and had him be a fake Jinchuriki that way. But to incorporate the Ninetales, I don't know, it was just a little weird to me. And again, later on down the line, we'll talk more about how that was weird and all that. But again, this one is also kind of nitpicky as well, because at least the excuse of excess chakra in the area from the Ninetales, at least that's the excuse they went with. Which again, that's all right. That's fine. Okay, so 4 and 5, I'm just gonna lump together because they mainly deal with the villains. So 4 and 5, it's not only just the villains, but just their overall plan. So they're going around destroying these villages with this lightning style jutsu where they have multiple points of these dead people that have lightning based chakra. And it basically destroys the village because they have this giant lightning bolt hit the ground. Okay, fine. But then you tie in having Sora as a backup against the Leaf Village. Okay. And then, like, apparently it's his dad as well that's doing all this, even though Asuma killed him, but he didn't. But he did now. So it was weird. It felt weird to me. That's basically the whole like motto of this arc, especially with the things I didn't like, is things that just felt a little off to me. And again, it's a filler arc. You got to fill some time. But especially with the good things in this arc, the villains just weren't that good to me. Okay, so starting off with things that I loved or liked in this arc. So I'm gonna start off with the opening song, Bluebird, which is very iconic in the Naruto series. I'm not gonna lie, back when I had a PSP and I used it a lot, I mainly used it for MP3 players. And Bluebird was one of them that I listened to a lot. And it's even on my Spotify playlist right now. I listen to it a lot, and I think it's a pretty good song. Again, it's very iconic of the time. They do change the visuals a little bit when we start going into the next arc going through, but yeah, it's a good opening. And then another quick thing that I liked about this arc is basically the timing of the arc. So this arc takes place between the Tenchi Bridge arc and the what they're calling the Akatsuki Suppression arc, basically the arc with Hidan and Kakuzu. It takes place during that time, and in that time we get a little bit more, and I'll talk about this here in a minute, a little bit more with Asuma and just his backstory and overall, and we get some other elements that we kind of play around with, kind of getting the ideas hammered in. But yeah, the timing of the arc makes sense. We'll see later on down in the series that I know of, especially when I looked at a list of the arcs. There's a lot of times where filler arcs go right in the middle of an arc. So I'm gonna have to be very careful with that when I do videos, but that's for another time. But I do like the timing of the arc story-wise. Like, it's just like with Bleach and the Bout arc. I like the placement of the Bout arc because it made sense where it happened. Otherwise, yeah, timing's fine. And then one last quick thing. I know these things that I liked about the arc have been really quick, but number 3, zombies. So we have the introduction of the reanimation jutsu back in like part 1 of Naruto, but we never really explored like what would happen if zombies were a thing. So we get this nice little zombie battle between some of the tuning, especially like Kiba, Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, all of them. They're going into battle with these zombies. And it's actually kind of cool to see that, because that's also another thing that's going to come into play later on in the story with these reanimated bodies. Now, however, these are more zombies than reanimated bodies. But anyways, it's just fun to see zombies in a ninja series, you know? Yeah. Okay, so something I'll talk a little bit more about. Number 4, Asuma's backstory being fleshed out. So, in the manga, we find out he's part of the Guardian Shinobi 12, who helped protect the Fire Lord of the Land of Fire. But they also had a falling out because they had this idea of a king, and who's our king? Who do we protect that's the king? Is it the feudal lord, or is it the Hokage? I said Hokage, really weird. I apologize for that right there. But yeah, so who do we protect? The Hokage or the feudal lord? Now, Asuma has his own idea of what the king is, and I'm sure the other 12 shinobi had their ideas as well. But we also get to see this monk, which his name is escaping me right now as well. I should have wrote his name down, but that's besides the point. Who in the manga we see him very quickly as a bounty for Kakuzu to take and make money off of, because he loves money, and a bounty, that's easy money for him. So we get to see him a little bit, see the Temple of the Monks, kind of get more sympathy for what's about to happen with them, which we'll get to with the next arc. So we get to see more of that. We get to see some of his backstory as well, because he's starting to think back into his past when the Shinobi 12 split in half, because some wanted to protect the feudal lord as their king, the others wanted to protect the Hokage as their king. So they are falling out. We see a little bit of that clash, and Asuma going in on Kazuma, I think his name was. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to see more of Asuma's backstory, especially what's about to happen to him as well. So that's one thing I will commend this arc for, is just kind of fleshing that out a little more and giving us a little more sympathy with Asuma and his friend, and basically that whole monk temple that was there. Keyword was. And the last thing I liked about this arc is the focus on the elemental chakra strengths and weaknesses. So at the beginning of this the beginning of this arc, we find out some more about like chakra natures and all that. So we find out that Naruto is a wind style user, through the paper, the elemental paper. So basically, you take this piece of paper. I'm going to use my AirPods as an example. You take this piece of paper, and you put it right between your fingers like this, and you flow chakra through there. And if it like crinkles up or slices in half, goes on fire, crumbles apart, or gets wet, that determines what your elemental nature is for chakra. So we see that when Naruto starts his training with Kakashi to create a new jutsu. And that idea keeps going throughout the arc, where Naruto actually fights this one woman who can use 4 out of the 5 chakra natures. So she's using water style, earth style, lightning style, fire style. She doesn't have any wind style yet because she wants to take Naruto's chakra for that, which she tries at a couple points, but she obviously fails because then the Nine-Tails chakra starts getting to her. And Naruto actually beats a wigged villain. Like, he beats a wig. A demonic wig is what he beats. Because that's what she ends up being, actually. So, yeah, it was nice to see just more of a focus on that, because we do see that a little bit in the arc coming up, but we're starting to get more of an introduction. This is more of an introductory arc with that kind of concept. And we also see that when Yamato is fighting the other guy who's using earth style, and obviously Yamato, he's more in tune with wood style, but that's because it's a combination of water and earth. And he even explains to Naruto that that's what it was. Like, we even get the explanation of what a Kekkei Genkai actually is. So we have Kakashi explaining all this to Naruto, and Yamato is also there as an example, but Kakashi also uses Haku as an example, the ice user from part 1 when they were doing the Land of Waves arc. So yeah, we get the explanation that it's the mix of 2 elemental chakras. So in Haku's case, Haku's ice type ninjutsu, it was like a combination of water and wind style. And then he says, you know, Yamato's is a combination of water and earth style. And so on and so forth with the rest of what each Kekkei Genkai is. I think, well, we'll get to those when we cross them. So anyways, it was nice just to have kind of a focus on the elemental chakras themselves. We have that with, you know, the villain's plans being lightning based. We have that with and we even see Asuma, which is actually a canon part, Asuma helping Naruto train for the wind style, because, you know, he gives him the idea of thin and sharply with his chakra and using his chakra blades as an example. So we see that, we learn that, which is also in the manga, and yeah, it was good. That part was good. But again, having that focus on the elemental styles was really cool. Having a villain that faced Naruto himself, which Naruto had to use his brain for, and he doesn't really use it too often, too much, until now. But yeah, it was just nice to have that focus on the elemental styles of chakra. Okay, so overall, I'm giving the Guardian Shinobi 12 arc, which is what people have called it online, I'm giving it a solid C. So again, the things I didn't like, there were a lot of nitpicks, and things I did like were actually really good concepts. But overall, I mean, it is a filler arc, and it just overall feels meh. Because you're just sitting there watching it, you're like, okay, none of this really fits into the story. It's just there. Nah. Like, there's no over-ending consequences with all this. It's just meh. But I will give it a solid C as a filler arc, because again, it added a little bit more to the story, and it just kind of solidified more of what the concepts are going forward, and also led to some more weight to things that are about to happen in the next arc. So again, solid C, great, awesome. Thank you for coming, Guardian Shinobi 12. I'm looking forward to the next arc because the next arc is actually when I started reading the manga. But yeah, actually no, I take that back. I did start reading Naruto Shippuden. Anyways, that's about it for this video. So really quickly, just a brief update video. So I'm gonna start doing some anime reviews as well. I'm gonna keep them mainly to season wide because, especially with this style that I'm trying to do with the 5 things I didn't like, 5 things I did like, that mainly, that's a good concept, not concept, whatever. It's a good concept to have. It's a good structure. There we go. It's a good structure to have for reviews in a seasonal format. So I'm going to do this again with anime reviews. I'll have one coming out this Saturday, and then hopefully I'll have one coming out next week on a couple series that I've been watching on my free time and all that. And then by the end of this season, I think there's only like 2 or 3 weeks left in this season. I'll have a couple videos of a couple anime that stuck through the time of this global pandemic that we're going through. That was originally on my list of shows I was watching. I have a list of shows I'm going to watch next season as well. So I'll be doing that for next season too. And yeah, I'll be continuing my Naruto one. I might do another series as well with the arc review style. Because I'm mainly sticking the arc reviews for shows that I've already kind of gotten a grasp for. Like I've already watched, just want to talk about them again, whatever. So stay tuned for those. And on that note, thanks for reaching the end of the video. If you liked anything I said, or if I intend you in any way, shape, or form, be sure to like the video. And in order to not miss any of my other content, especially on the anime side, the manga side, some of the Pokemon stuff, I might get back into wrestling, who knows. Yeah, just be sure to subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, I've been your world champion. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.